In the meantime, thousands of parents with young children in the country can now breathe a sigh of relief after 8 million life-saving vaccines arrived in the country after a 2-month wait. Medical Services Principal Secretary Harry Kimtai, who received the consignment at the Kenya's Central Vaccine Store, says the government used 1.25 billion shillings to acquire the vaccines, which will be adequate to address this shortage and ensure the country has enough stock.
Over the last 2 months, these have been the scenes in hospitals across the country. Mothers lining up with their children in search of vaccines. Thousands of children missing critical immunization. A shortage that was attributed to a 3.6 billion shillings debt owed to suppliers. However, parents can finally smile after a consignment of 8 million vaccines arrived in the country on Thursday evening.
We have received all the vaccines, PCG specifically. I just want to mention that. PCG we have received, the polio, diphtheria, is it diphtheria? Yes. All the vaccines that are meant for vaccinations have been received, and therefore there should be no worry. There is no cause of alarm. PCG, I think we have 1.2 million. Polio vaccines, we have about 3 million.
Medical Services Principal Secretary Harry Kimtai, who received the consignment at Kenya's Central Vaccine Store in Kitengela, say the vaccines will be distributed across the country over the weekend and that all facilities will be stocked by Monday.
Starting on Monday, they should take the children for vaccination. I have ordered our team here to start the distribution effective from tomorrow. Over the weekend and on Monday, all the facilities will be equipped with the vaccines, ready to commence vaccination of our children.
Kimtai says the government used 1.25 billion shillings to procure the essential vaccines administered to newborns and children under 5. Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nyamira, Kilifi and Siaya were among the 10 counties had hit by the shortage of vaccines. The ministry says they have put in place measures to avoid running short of the crucial vaccines, which could affect the growth of children if not administered when required.
And now to this story about the budget of 2024-2025. According to the latest report from the National Assembly, it shows that the budget for the next financial year, which begins on 1st of July, will amount to 4 trillion shillings. To be specific, it's 4.006 trillion shillings, and this has risen from the initial submitted estimates of 3.9 trillion shillings. Beyond that, we know that the national government will be taking 2.39 trillion shillings. Out of that, the county governments will be taking 400 billion shillings, of course a raise from the previous 390 billion shillings. The consolidated fund services will be 1.21 trillion shillings, and of course that gives a total of 4.006 trillion shillings. What more you need to be aware about is that the report passed by the House gives the National Executive some 2.3 trillion shillings, then gives Parliament 44.6 billion shillings and gives the judiciary 24.6 trillion shillings, rather 24.6 billion shillings, and that gives a total of 2.39 trillion shillings. Of course, the National Executive taking the lion's share out of the national allocation. And now